Hello, everybody. I love you guys. And I just want to share with you. A lot of people have been sending me emails and they're asking me about the solar eclipse. So, right away, what I want to tell you is that the solar eclipse appeared in one of my readings over 2 years ago. And the reading is called How It Ends. Now, in that reading, it's really apocalyptic and very symbolic. But in that reading, there was a major event that was a pivot point where things escalate out of control. Now, what that major event is a stray missile hitting a bridge. The missile was long range. I kept getting long range with that. Now, the difference between this bridge and any other bridge, which are often targeted in war, is this is an actual accident. And even though people know this is an accident, they're all up in arms. They are not listening to reason. This is the world leaders I'm talking about. They also don't say which side it's on, so you can't assume that it's one side doing it to the other side. But watch for this event. The bridge that they showed me at least 4 times in this reading, the way they showed it to me, it was a stone or brick bridge. It was one of these arched bridges. It looked like these ones that are made several hundred years ago. The first time they showed it to me, I said, they have this kind of bridge in England. But that could be my thinking just when they're showing me the bridge. They also have them in St. Petersburg. But the first time I say England, the second time I'm like, I heard just a wisp of saying, so the river in France, there's a bunch of bridges on that are real fancy, ornate bridges from several hundred years ago. There's a lot about the Mediterranean in this reading as well. You definitely, if you're interested, will want to go back into that reading to examine more. I'm going to play a couple clips. So they show me in there. Then there's several other times they talk about it. So I'm going to put the clips for just that in there, but there's literally hundreds probably, or dozens at least, of different events and symbols for events that occur. I would say we're at least 75% of the way through the timeline, if not 90%. So in that bridge as well, there's a solar eclipse. So every time there's a solar eclipse, a lot of people write to me. I can't say for sure if this is the solar eclipse that's in the reading. And then there's another part. So you're going to have to be the judge of that, how much care you want to take into making sure that you have basic survival needs. And that's not out of fear. You should anyway. On a good day where nothing's going on, there's no threats going on, your own government has told you repeatedly that all people should be, able to survive a minimum of 3 days without any access to any supply line or, the water systems that all run on electricity, these big water pumps to clean the water, everything. You should be able to exist yourself really for 3 to 6 months. But even the government's telling you a minimum of 3 days. If you don't have that, I don't know what you're thinking, but you want to open your eyes right about now. In the reading, sometimes you don't really feel time and space, when you're in this like floaty out there thing with these readings. It seemed like everything was going to happen so fast, and it's already been 2 years, and most of it has happened, but it took longer than it seemed in the reading. So with that, to say that when this accidental long-range missile accidentally hits this arched stone bridge, whether on one side or the other side, pay attention. And when you see the world leaders flipping out of control and nobody's listening to reason, the time is short. Very, very, very short. If you want to know the truth, I'm minimizing everything because I know that some people get scared. The only thing that fear is good for is motivation. If fear motivates you to have basic preparedness items to be able to survive something, if the grid went down, if the EMP struck, if the solar, eclipse caused a problem, whatever, then it's good to give you that adrenaline to do that. It's not good to wallow in it. It's not good to sit in it. In fact, it's good to focus on survival. So there was a really famous person a couple hundred years ago, and he said, He said, the best predictor of survival is adaptability. So remember that. That's some inner strength news, right? Be adaptable. Have an attitude that you're going to adapt to whatever the situation is. And get ready now, just in case, but don't be too afraid. Okay, so besides the solar eclipse, they also show events and they show these moon phases. Now, essentially, I'm really summarizing this, but if you see one of these arches that has the moon phases, there's usually about 8. So I'm figuring that's about 3.5 to 3.75 days. And they showed the first 3 were clear. The second 2 were blurry. And then the rest were so blurry you could not count them. But they held the image there. Okay. So it didn't like they blur it and make it go away. They held the image there for me to talk about how the first 3 phases are clear, then something happens, and the next couple are blurry, and then it's just not even there. So in the reading is very apocalyptic, and I was aware that some people were frightened, and there are other issues. So if you want to get on my mailing list, this is my email, Reverend Donna Seraphina, and that's with a PH at Gmail. It's really important. The other thing that's really important, there's links in the description box to other social media platforms I'm on. Make sure to take a minute and subscribe. Join my Facebook group. It's under the same name as this channel. I'm putting up a new website right now, so it's half built, but it's the same name as this channel. TikTok is a different name than this channel, and there's fake profiles, so follow the actual link in the description box. That is my only profile. And then I just started a Rumble channel, so I'm going to start uploading to there as well. And I'm going to try to nail out a couple more. I'm on Instagram. I don't go on there all the time. Should do it more. I'm on Twitter. Same thing. But if you just take a minute, then we'll never lose touch. Okay? Let's see if there's anything else to remember. So here's what I want you to listen to. Here's the clips that might help you determine how serious you want to take all this. And again, I would encourage you to listen to the original reading.
And then they're showing me a bridge, and the bridge is an older bridge, like, made of brick, and so it would probably be, one of these ones they've been showing a lot on TV, but it just kind of came into my mind. And I think a missile hits it or something and blows up. And the thing is, in England, they have that, some kind of river or whatever and a bridge over it or whatever, but those are probably all over Europe. And so, it's a feeling of a stray missile, hitting the wrong place or something like that. And I'm not saying it's all the way to England. It could be like, in Poland or wherever, one of these countries right around there. It just could be just like the wrong place, or it could, it could always be mine garbage and stuff like that as well. But that's just what I'm seeing. They're showing it to me. Because the reason was the feeling that comes with it is it wasn't intended. Like that was not the intended target. It goes long range. Like it says, long-range missile. I think just because that war stuff, I'm just seeing all these missiles flying out in different directions from Russia. And what's really funny, well, it's not funny, but interesting, is like this missile, and I see that their missiles are just plain metal, dark green, whatever, or green missile. But this missile they show me specifically is painted in red and white stripes. Where that river, and I don't know if it could be like the river Seine, S-E-I-N-E, like, and that bridge, like if one of these concrete with the arches type of bridges, or it could be anywhere in England, but they're showing me that again. And I just felt like saying river sign, but S-E-I-N-E, and I have a little spirit energy, but it might not be there. And then it was back, about the accidental, like an accidental, missile strike or something like that. Hello?
Hey.
Okay.
Donna, can you find out, if you talk about the current event, is there any way that you can see something about what's going to happen? Like something, about in the now time, like concrete?
I think that is in the now time.
Yeah.
It feels like they're going to have a missile that goes into the wrong place completely and blows up a bridge that wasn't intended, but it's going to be taken wrong. And that's going to escalate things or something. Okay, so
how about any feelings from over here? Or
what do you mean? What do you mean? Any feelings from over here?
In the U.S., like, is there anything? Can you foresee?
I'm just channeling this. So
yes.
They know that already.
Okay.
They put through whatever they want to put through,
Right.
But and that is what they're showing me. Everything they showed me has meaning to it. Just have to then figure out what it is. Okay, let me see. But what was the thing you wanted to know? Yeah, the current event. Yeah. Okay. Well, what I would say to you is I believe what they're trying to show me is that they're going to have a wayward missile blow up the wrong bridge somewhere. Okay, that's coming up. So that's what that feels like to me. But I can't say that it is, but that's what it feels like to me. And it could be the river sign, S-E-I-N-E, which is what I just called you. It could be the river sign, but I don't know. I don't know where it is. I just know it looks like it has the arches with the stone. And then they're showing me it's kind of like the moon, but then the sun rays come out of it. It's really interesting. So they're only showing me the right side of this moon. I think it almost might be divided in half, and then the left side of it's dark. And it's really interesting because behind the moon, you just see if someone drew a sun, you would just see the hand-drawn sun flashes or rays, whatever, how they draw them, come out. So for some reason the sun is behind the moon, and then the moon is half dark, the left part.
So representing two different sides?
I have no idea. And I know it represents something, but I have no idea. They're showing me moon signs again, and it's interesting. This time they're showing me them going over in an arch, starting with the one where it's 50% dark, and then it's 2, 3, 4. There might be 9 moons or something like that, over in an arch. I don't want to push to interpret things because that's where it could be wrong. It makes me wonder if something will go on for that amount of time, or will start at that amount of time and then go from there, however many. Because the moons kind of fade off. So it's they start out, I see the first 3 real clearly, but after that, then they get more and more, so I can't really see them, but I know they're making that arch, so kind of feels like that's indeterminate at this point, how many days, but it's so that could be interpreted, obviously, however. And then there's a lot of people, they're kind of like energy people, like spirit people. And then there's a big hole in the ground, and they're looking, and they're looking down. Where they're looking down on is all mountains, super tall mountain peaks that's all the top of all these mountains. And they're helping souls come there. They give them, it's interesting, so they give them a hand up. And again, I have the feeling like they showed me before, here's this real remote place on Earth again, which it did feel more like, okay, because when I said it could be the Amazon, it was almost like they put in the puzzle piece, like they put it right into the picture. So there it is. And it's like this real remote place, and even they will be affected by something. I don't know if it's a mushroom cloud. I'm not seeing one, but it's like there's a wondering feeling like, well, what is there, gonna go off? And then I get a feeling from Putin, like, I don't think, it feels like it's not helpful, all this ratcheting up of tensions. It's kind of like if backed into a corner, I feel like those missiles are going to fly all over the world. That's the feeling of, and it's not an outward feeling. They're giving me the inward feeling of him, like, when if you're cornered into a situation, but it wouldn't be out of fear or anything else. It's just like sheer determination. And that, they show me, relates to, this waterfall in the Amazon and, the farthest place in Africa, and, they showed me probably Tibet or Mongolia or something like that, and then in the Kashmir region. So inside this bag that has a drawstring, they're showing me those stones, that you etch, those ancient stones and read them, runes or something like that.
Yes.
Okay, so they're showing me something that would be very, very similar to that, with patterns on them. So one pattern is, it's not like the Nazi bolts. Well, kind of it is in a way on one of them, but I don't know that it's not like the Nazi people took that from someone else. It had it meant something like the sun, or it meant something, I don't know what it meant. But anyway, so they're showing me that, but they're showing me that it's the original meaning of it before it was hijacked. And I'm getting the feeling blocking of the sun with that. So, and then they have a glass bowl, but it's one of these shallow glass bowls, almost like for washing hands, the sink and stuff like that. And then they show me I think it's the logo for the radiation, the sign for radiation. But they do it in conjunction with the water coming out of the tap.
Interesting.
And then I'm just gonna not rest, but just let it go blank, because I totally want only from them, not from anything from me. They're showing me a really cool, it looks like some sort of decoration. In a way it looks like coral, but just like when a comet goes through the air with the tails coming off it, it's shaped similar to that, but it's more like stone or real rough stone or coral. Like if the rough stone had super holes in it, like it was in the ocean or something. By coral, so it's like a piece of that. And then when I first saw it, it looked like a hole was drilled through it, and someone had put in, like, say, a magnifying glass, maybe a piece of crystal that was like shaped like a magnifying glass, or even a marble, but a super large one, cut like that. Just that look where you could see light to the other side. And then just a second ago, they put a visual image of something else. Oh, clock. A clock there, time, representing time. The time is like 7 minutes to 12. And then the clock's morphing a little bit to kind of like this French provincial kind of look. That they were all fancy, but it's morphing kind of into a porcelain clock. A porcelain, but these are ones that sit on a table or and it's a certain style, which I think it's called French provincial. I'm not sure. I could look too, but looks like an antique, and it has lots of like wavy stuff and everything. Little swirly direction, little swirly stuff. I feel like saying time is running out, but I don't want to be like doom and gloom or whatever. So, But I feel like saying that, and even when I see the 7 minutes to 12, I'm just like, well, 12 must be a marker there, and then, 7 minutes to 12 is not that long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd also like to share my book with you. Okay, so this is my book, and I'll put a link to that in the description box as well. Now, what this book is, I wrote it starting from my journals, starting from after the death of my daughter in 2011. And I could feel her so strongly that I started researching what happens when you die and how to connect and all this kind of stuff. And every single thing in this book is real. Everything in this book really works. I have since become a spiritualist reverend. That's how deep I've gotten into it. And it's written literally, like, let me show you. It's written in a way that if somebody was grieving, they would not need to read it from cover to cover. That you could look up different subjects that you're interested in and just pop open and read like 10 minutes. And you're going to learn a lot from this book about spirit communication and every other thing of connecting with your loved ones in spirit. So you can find this book on Amazon. I know the title is super long, but if you just write Reverend Donna Seraphina Lambert or just Reverend Donna Seraphina in Amazon, you'll come up with it. The first couple words are afterlife exploration. So you'll see it. It's easy. Just put my name into Amazon. And with that, I'm going to let you go. I love you guys. Just remember, just keep allowing the love of God to flow through you. Keep just accepting, allowing, requesting, asking. You don't need to beg. Just, dear God, please shine your light through me. Please remove all blocks that prevent me from feeling your love. Please allow your love to channel through me so that I can feel your love as well as share your love with others. And with that, I say in Jesus' name, amen. All right? Okay? Bye.